In the morning light, I'm chasing dreams, navigating through the office streams. Deadlines looming, emails piling high, wondering if I'm reaching for the sky or just passing by. The world outside, it's a swirling storm, chaos in the streets, a daily norm. But inside my mind, I'm seeking peace, a way to balance, a moment to seize. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Upon meetings, voices in my head, strategies and plans, where do they lead instead? I take a breath, step back to see the bigger picture, what's meant to be. Coaching sessions, a guiding light, helping me focus, setting things right. With every word, a new perspective gained. In the game of life, it's not about the pain. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Quiet moments, I find my voice. In the chaos, I make my choice to lead with kindness, to act with care, to be the change, to show I'm aware. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. Today is Sunday, July 12th, 2026, and it's so great to see all of you all here. Welcome, Melissa. How are you this morning, my friend?
You know, I'm ready, Felipe. I don't know about you, but this week has been like a gloriously motivational, get it done kind of week for me. So this is a perfect time for this topic.
I agree. I've kind of had a similar motivational week, and it ended on a chance to relax, which has been nice because I've been able to just kind of enjoy and be in the moment. But I want to say hello to some friends who've been here already early. Hello, Kenny, who thank you for sharing the room as always. Chris, thank you for being here. David Pushkin, our voice. William, Kenny, I was talking to these guys until like last night. So the fact that they're up for our show, it's a shout out to them and kudos for showing up. And then Meryl Cass, you can't say enough good things about this guy who's always supporting all of the shows out there. But like even today, he sent me a link about somebody who's looking for speakers, about expert topics. And just the fact that he thinks about other people like that. And I know he does it for a lot of other people. Whenever he sees something that reminds him about somebody, he's that kind person that shares it. So kudos to you. And thank you all for joining us. Let us know what's going on for you today. Where are you today? Are you at home? Are you listening to us, at a park, maybe in a coffee shop? Let us know. But I'm excited about today's topic, Melissa. I think the goals could be a good topic. But before we get into the goals, I guess we should probably just do some introductions, maybe.
That'd be good. And hey, guys, good morning to you in the comments. I was cleaning between Bewitched episodes, Bill. It was excellent. Felipe, I can't wait to talk about that tip, actually, to get things done. Do you want to go first on intros? I feel like I have a question I would love to ask you, and maybe you can answer it after your intro. But what is the number one most exciting
Do your
thing
intro
that happened
first.
this week for you?
All right, well, do your intro and then we'll talk
Okay.
about that.
Okay, fine. I'm Melissa Houston. I'm the cultivator of dreams, motivator of human capital. And what that means is I help people like you figure out what they want to be when they grow up and get a plan of action together. I'm also a host of Coffee Chats with Melissa on Saturday, was published with Felipe as a co-author in 2 internationally best-selling books. I am doing a lot of coaching and consulting on the ground these days in Bellingham. I'm also a recent Bellingham ambassador. So if you ever want to come into town and you need some insights as to where to go, I'm actually certified. I got certification to host you in town. And then Felipe, I'm really excited to tell everybody my news, which is I am 1 pound away from being the lightest I've been in a decade. And I'm excited about that.
Woohoo! That's awesome. Oh my God.
Yeah, I went to tell you before the show. We were kind of checking in, and I was like, oh, I forgot the best part. But yeah, that's really exciting for me. I just feel really good about it.
Well,
and then subscribe on my YouTube, guys. Thank you so much for posting that on there, Felipe.
Well, and also you had something else exciting happen this week. Do you want to mention that? You did that one thing you did share with me.
Yeah. If you guys haven't been stalking my LinkedIn profile, if you're not getting notifications, then you don't know that I was live on the radio this week here in town. 92.9 KISM. They were on location with Sliced, and I was able to talk about the food and kind of the give back we're doing, the networking we're doing. But it was really cool. I got to go live on the radio. Had no idea it was going to happen. Thank God that we do this on Sundays, and then Saturday my show, or I would have been so much more nervous. But yeah, it was kind of cool to be live.
Well, that's very awesome. That's very exciting, and I can't wait to try to find it somewhere on the, internet. And I gotta say that one of the things that is just surprising sometimes is how just random things can happen out of the blue, and just things that we wouldn't expect, and sometimes it can be scary, but sometimes they align with our goals. But before that, let me introduce myself. For those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Felipe Cofino. I've been an HR exec for 25 plus years. I am the founder of Cofino Consulting, which is where I help people with recruiting services. If they need to find people for their team, I help with training, everything from workplace training to supervisory leadership training. And I also do auditing to help the teams go from good to great. Not to call them out and get them in trouble, but help your team learn where they can be better. And I am a LinkedIn top voice, which is something that I take seriously. And I do shows like this with Melissa Houston, which is one of the highlights of my Sundays. And it's a great way for us to share our experiences with you all so that hopefully you all can have some beneficial takeaways. But also, we don't want you to repeat the mistakes that helped us learn these things, So we want you to go through and find the solutions without the pain sometimes. And I do shows with Sumana Jetty where I do Workplace Wellness Hour, which is every other Mondays, but we're on hiatus for the summer. And then, of course, Social Saturday Chat, which is another great thing I do on Saturdays with the Social Saturday Chat team. If you saw the live yesterday, I wasn't going to be able to make it because our internet went down during your show, Melissa. But there was no internet and no cellular here in Ocean City, Maryland. It was like the whole entire area wide.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was really weird because our friends were like, we left to go get our phones fixed because we couldn't get in touch with our kids. And I'm like, yeah, our phones weren't really getting great reception, but I had AT&T, they had Verizon, they had nothing. So I took 8 hours, and then by the time it came on, I was on the beach and during Social Saturday Chat Live. So I went live in the middle of the ocean, Melissa. I don't know if you saw that, but if you go to Social Saturday Chat Live, I'm literally in the ocean with the waves hitting me and my phone in my hand, and the phone did not get wet. That's the impressive
Okay, that's
part.
pretty cool, guys. I've never done a live spot from the ocean. I've done it from the pool, but the ocean's pretty good. If you could have told me you got stung by a stingray, it would have made it more exciting. But
well, now here's the funny thing. There were dolphins, and you can't quite see them in there in the live, but there were dolphins, schools of dolphins going back and forth in the front of the beach, and we were all watching them. I have videotape of the dolphins, but you couldn't see them in the live, so I didn't mention it. But
really
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so, see, that's the part when you're at the beach, you want the live event. I got to say, guys, I hear orca are all over the coast on right here, right now. And so I keep trying to go to the beach every chance I get, trying to find them. But yeah, I'm excited. I love those.
Okay. See, dolphins, I think flipper kind animals. Orca, I think killer whale.
But yes, and here's a few things. Number one, we actually talked about it on a coffee chat once with Sam Kane, who does journaling from England, and killer whales are training each other, like orca are training each other to attack boats. They're disabling ships and they're attacking the rudders. And this is a growing problem. It just keeps increasing. But there's also orca that will deliver like fish and gifts to humans, and they're really interested in us. And they are part of the dolphin family for those nerds out there. So it's kind of just a big cousin to the dolphin.
And that was a commercial you offered, like why you should live on the East Coast of the United States and not on the West Coast.
Listen, and if you run an aquarium, bring my butt over because I need to play with the fishies in the back room. Okay. Also, okay, I have a new goal. I got to tell you, we're going to kick off this thing, but I got to tell you, I have a brand new goal as of yesterday. I found out the Oregon Zoo has elephants on site. And while I don't love captive animals in the whole scheme of things, I absolutely love being in the presence of an elephant. And so that is a new goal. I got to get to Oregon.
All right. Well, elephants and you. I did not know about that. I didn't know about your love of elephants. That's new.
I adore them. Sorry, real quick. I went to the zoo when my daughter was born, and I was so excited to see elephants. I've always loved them. I feel they're peaceful. It's like Dumbo, the whole thing, right? Disney, it works. But I walk up to the gate, and this elephant beelines for me. Not in a negative way, just like walks right over and just stands there. And we were just having a moment. And as soon as I start walking away, the elephant went back to its corner. And I swear it was just like, you could feel the energy between us. And later I found out that elephants look at humans like humans look at puppies. So I was the puppy for the day. It was so cute. All right, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's awesome. That must have been really cool. I'm just questioning whether the elephant was thinking like me, like, who the hell is this chick trying to get in my face and walking up to you saying, I'll get in your face until you walk away.
No, it was cute. We were hanging out.
I'm messing with you. All right. Well, one of my goals that I've been working on, which is something that, again, something that I didn't really almost want to do because it isn't something I ever did, was launch a separate Instagram page for something. And I finally did it to promote the Miranda and Max book or Backyard Adventures, because it's something that, for those of you who don't know, here's a little logo I created for it. And it's actually been so successful, more than some of the other stuff I've been doing. And I didn't expect it to be successful. And it sounds stupid to say that. I expected it to be a memory for my daughter. But the fact that it's growing, I've started, the second book is being published in August. The third book is being written. But on Instagram, I've had some creative ideas, and I've had the characters inviting people to join Backyard Adventures page. And then I'm like, well, let's see if I can make them tell little jokes. So here's an example. Now, these are written for 2 to 5 year olds. Do not shame me for how bad the joke is. They're supposed to be bad dad jokes for 2 to 5 year olds. Here's an example.
What do cats wear to bed?
Pajamas.
That was a joke saying, what do cats wear to bed? Pajamas. And then I have one here.
Click this link in our profile.
You can get a free coloring book and get the cartoon video and song.
So that's been one of my goals that I've been working on, that I am proud to say that I've actually launched it, because I've been procrastinating launching that because it's just not what I typically do. But I realized that, once I realized the kids will get some value out of it and enjoy it, it kind of pushed me towards it. So that's where
I gotta tell you, friend, that is fantastic. And I'm the first one to pick on you when I don't like something. But no, truth is, we've talked about the experience of children and how they take in information. And guys, Miss Rachel, I don't know Miss Rachel. I've never watched an episode of Miss Rachel, but I know Miss Rachel. And why do I know Miss Rachel? Because she was everywhere the kids were. And they were glued. They heard the theme song, they would pop up, right? And I used to do it too. I remember the Barney theme song for my sister and the kid running to the screen. It's evolved, and we carry our screens with us in a way we never did back then. But Felipe, what you're doing is encouraging education, literature in their hands, but in the book, like the book is moving with them into digital, and the creativity. And it almost is like, I don't want to say Dora, but it gives that kind of energy of, this is an adventure seeking human who wants to go and travel, and then you add the pet and you add the backstory of us knowing you and the kids, and it's really cool, dude. I'm very proud of you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's I definitely am doing it with intent, and as I think touches on why it's important to check in on your goals midpoint or off and on, because if you want to be intentful, you gotta keep on putting that intention into the work you're doing. Like this took a lot of work. My friends were like, "What are you working?" I'm like, I'm doing stuff for the children's book, and they're like, "Okay," and they're like, "Okay, that's kind of cool." Like, I don't want to be disrespectful and not be present with you. I just want to do this one thing today, real quick. And so, but it's the point of if it matters and it's important to you, you're going to make time and you're going to do things that take some time because it's of value. And for me, I want the kids to actually learn something. I want them to enjoy it. I want parents to feel like it's safe content. So hopefully when you think of a goal, you think about the ripple effect of who is going to maybe benefit, or how is your goal going to affect others, or how's it going to affect you? Like, okay, what if my show did become like Rachel, or what's her name? Was it Rachel?
Yeah, Miss Rachel.
Miss Rachel, what if I don't want that? What if I didn't want that? You know, there's things that some people say, oh, that's not what my goal was with this project. So you got to be checking on your goals to make sure that it's going in the direction that you want.
Ooh,
Because
I
you may
have a
not want,
question.
what's that?
What if the clients are the voice of your business, right? What if your customers tell you what they want versus what you want to deliver? And how much do you wiggle on that, Felipe?
Well, and that's where I think it's a judgment call for everyone, and what direction. Look, I made a conscious decision to put more effort into this book because I knew it was resonating with people more than Convenient Consulting was currently. You know, because Convenient Consulting, people are looking to hire people on their teams more than consultants in some cases right now. This book is resonating with parents, children, you know, and so I realized this is an opportunity for me to maybe make more of an impact today, and next year it might switch, but it's something that if it's going to impact my bandwidth and burn me out, I gotta be able to know that and say, I hear you all, but maybe next year we'll do this, not this year.
Well, and that's the cool thing, guys. As we get into this today, I want to just like the grace Felipe is giving himself to test the waters, to do it on his own time, to do it when he has time. But the other side of it, Felipe, is the fun and passion behind it. If you weren't enjoying it, you would not make time. And the fact that it's fun and it's passion for you is why I think things become successful, right? We talk about this all the time. That's what people pay for. And right now, it's not fun to be in HR. It's not a passion project to solve for X in HR in a lot of industries right now because they just don't have to. And we all know what that cycle looks like. You know, we always fix the problems when they come along. In HR, especially, there's very little proactive unless it's compliance driven. And so the fixes are just not being implemented in the same way. They're turning to AI, which we all are. We're not upset about it. But you are fresh. It's different. It's the salmon that swims upstream, not downstream with the rest of them. It's the thing that stands out. And even if it's a small drip, you don't have to be the Miss Rachel, right? Miss Rachel is Miss Rachel. You have characters. You're not the face of the brand. And so you can absolutely, if they go, hey, we want to make this a show, be the executive producer. Change the perspective of what the goal would look like. You don't have to do it all, but maybe you get final say so before they go on an adventure you don't agree with, right? And so, guys, when you're looking at your goals today, no matter what they look like, just remember you can always take a step to the left and still be in that Venn diagram of goals, or still be walking the right path, just maybe moving over a little bit, looking at it from a different way. And I'm just, again, so proud, guys. If you're not following him on Instagram, on that page, please go do so, because that's how things get going. The kids won't find it if the adults don't find it first. That's how that works. The kids need the adults to get on it.
And I'm going to share, really quick, 5 points I want us to highlight quickly as we continue this discussion. And we're going to invite people up to the stage to ask your questions. But it's one of those things where, I love what Nick said here. She said, so important to say how it's going to affect you. Some things pursuing your goal means not being heart-centered. One does not negate the other, which I think it's important. That's a great point there. Now, one thing also is, when you think about your goals, you got to think about it. Are you doing it for yourself? Or are you doing it for other people? Or are you doing it for both? Now, this book, I'm doing it more for others than I'm doing it for me. So this Instagram page, I'm doing my best to make sure that anyone that's new to it does not see Felipe Cofino. I don't want to make it about me because you all know I wrote the book and that's fine. But I want this to be about the kids, about the characters, about the book. And if I tried to do it from my page, it wouldn't have worked. But doing it from Backyard Adventures, having their own page, I want it to be its own entity and not tied to an HR professional or some old guy. I don't know. It just so I just encourage people to evaluate what is it that you want, because sometimes we get so excited and it might come across as I'm making it about me, not about the project. And then again, it depends. Your project might be about you, and that's okay. But when it's not, you gotta evaluate that. So the 5 things I wanted to highlight real quick is some stats here, just stats. And Melissa, you're the queen of knowing how important it is to document and act. That is your brand, and that is what you promote, and that's what you're great at. So a lot of these tie into that. And so I'm curious about your thoughts after I read these real quick. One, you're 42% more likely, and I did validate the sources from these stats. So I want you to know that they're not just junk. But people who write things down are 42% more likely to achieve them. So think about that. You just by taking 5 minutes to write it down, you've almost increased your chance by 50% of achieving the goal. But think about how many times you have not written things down. And then follow that up with accountability. Hold yourself accountable. If you can't, get an accountability partner. But hold yourself accountable somehow on a regular, consistent basis. And then be specific. You all know I love our SMART goals. The S stands for being specific, and that's important because if it's too broad, you're going to burn out and say, oh my God, it's too big, I can't do this, and you're going to give up. You don't want to give up. You don't want to be too vague or too broad. You want to be specific so you can focus and be intentful. And then, is it working? Track the results. I would never have created the Instagram page for Backyard Adventures if I didn't think that people were resonating with it, if I was not actually seeing people buy it, if I wasn't actually making some money off of it. Why am I going to invest more time on something that's not working? So track the results and make sure your efforts are being valuable and working. And then I think the most important thing I want you to walk away from today is adjust. Don't abandon your goals. When things don't go right, what can you do differently? I was promoting a children's book on LinkedIn. It wasn't working, y'all. I love you all. You all were my fan base. Most of you listening right here, but it wasn't reaching the audience. I had to adjust. So what are you doing to adjust your goals so that it can be more successful? All right, Melissa, over to you. Thoughts? Because I know you have a lot of thoughts about this.
And I'm honestly shocked because this aligns so much with yesterday's show, and you weren't even there to hear it. But something that I have
I heard it for 30 seconds and then it cut me out.
Okay. But something that I launched publicly a couple weeks ago was DATA, DATA, document, act, track, adjust. And it's exactly what you have to do, right? I would say rinse and repeat, document, act, assess, and all of the things. But the truth is, it doesn't matter if you're not diving back into the data. If you're not looking at the outcomes, if you're not looking at the in-between numbers, right? We all look at our LinkedIn data, or should be. And when I coach with people, I don't love the uphill climb being the thing. I love that we're growing, and I would love to just see it go up and up and up. But I also know the work that it takes to get the upward climb, right? And as somebody who's done the work, I would rather see my clients looking more like a heartbeat in their metrics, where they post something and it does really well one day. Maybe the next one, not so much. Maybe they take a few days off and they don't post at all, so they have no metrics. But that means rest and assess and adjust. And if you're hitting the big spikes, but never going back to look at the big spikes, what's the point? Your customers are telling you what they want. Your readers, your followers, your data is speaking to you. And if we're not reading it, what's the point in creating it? Right? It's what's the point of a book report if nobody's going to assess the results, if nobody's going to review it all? And so I don't know. I feel like if you guys aren't tracking, well, actually, let me ask what I asked yesterday, because we have a bigger crowd here. What is it you track often? Because I talked about speed, right? I'm always tracking my speed in the car. Yesterday, my daughter was in the car with me, Felipe, and she goes, wow, Mom, you're going the speed limit. And she looked at my phone. She was taking me to go to a place we had never been. And so she was my map. I was making her read it kind of to teach her. But It always shows your speed right on the phone too. And she's like, wow, you're doing it. I was like, great. She was tracking. So who else is tracking your data with you, right? That just so many concepts, but I love this. You guys just write it down, review it, get to work, do something about it. Yeah, simple, definitely not easy.
All right, so I have a question. So for you, Melissa, and for anyone listening, I ask people what goals are they working on right now, but I like your question better. Like, what are you tracking in your life right now? What is it that you're tracking? Because to your point, finances. I know that I'm living above my means if I am tracking my finances or if I am saving, the way I want. And I think that's so important to make sure that people realize is that, oh wait, let me put this back up here. Is that we have so many opportunities for us to be able to redirect and change and all that, but so often I'm trying to do two things at one time, and it clearly is not working here. All right, sorry, I'm focused now.
You're good. You're doing great.
But anyways, but I think that tracking is so important because we have things like the finances we track. If I hadn't tracked the book royalties or the comments or the requests I was getting for different things, I wouldn't know what people wanted. If I don't track my eating habits, maybe I don't realize why I'm gaining weight. So there's so many things so I'm curious, what are people out there doing and tracking right now? Because I think it's so important for people to realize, and I don't think everyone always realizes the benefits of when you're tracking. Because I think people track sometimes unconsciously, and they benefit from it without realizing that the tracking is what's helping them.
And then I would take it a step further. So yesterday, talking about finances, right? You were talking about your income, your outcomes, whatever it is. I was talking about we can watch our credit cards, right? We have a $5,000 credit card limit. It's easy to know if we're using 50%, 75%. But are we also taking into consideration that invisible interest rate that's going to hit us blindly when we're not looking? If we're not paying attention to the due date and the interest rate, those numbers shift without permission. And if that's true, then are we tracking enough data? Because sometimes we look at surface level, we're like, oh, that's enough. Your house is always at 80 degrees, no matter what you set your thermostat at. Okay, but well, I'm tracking it's 80. 80 is sufficient, I guess, even if it's set at 64. Or are you tracking your utility bill? Are you tracking the wear and tear on the unit outside? Is it frozen and you don't even know? If you don't assess the data, what else are you missing?
And that's a great question. And I love what people are sharing here about their setting goals for their mindset. I love that, William. I think that's a great thing. People are setting goals to buy something. It's so important. Here Nicole says she's tracking her anthologies to track writers and resonate with readers. And I think that's a brilliant thing because she's picking anthologies of different topics that resonate with different groups of people. And I think that was part of her growth in her business was, she thought of anthologies that she wanted people to write about, but then she started realizing, well, what do people want to write? And let me find other people that resonate with that as well. And so I think one of the new ones that she has coming out is about men's health men's health. And I think that's such a thing that is important because the people that are part of that book probably never would have written in that book if she hadn't kind of tracked the interest and reached out to them. And I think that's something that's important is tracking helps you realize, oh, there's people that let me reach out to this group that might resonate with what I'm doing. And it helps you expand your network.
And guys, the other thing, and I love this conversation because everybody you hear about in the comments, excuse me, on the stage, we all tracked each other. We were a little bit stalkerish in the beginning. We're watching each other from afar. Maybe we were in the same rooms. We didn't really engage, but then all of a sudden we clicked. And then we started tracking each other's activities and showing up to the same events and doing different things together and collaborating because we were tracking what others were up to. And then we ended up becoming international bestsellers together because we were tracking the metrics together. We were working as a team with our friends who were also tracking. And not just our results, but like the buildup, the follow through, all of it matters. And when you think about it, we could do it alone. But what is greater is having everybody come together in the way we did, because how many people have published and never got the golden ticket on the front of the cover, right? How many people have had their publication happen, but then never earned $1 because of it? And here you are you're a couple publications in, 3 from my counting, 4 on the way. Right? Am I wrong? Are you at 4 with a 5th? I don't know if we're counting the Spanish version separately. How does that work?
So this is technically the 4th book that I've written in. It's my 2nd solo author book because I have 2 that I've co-authored.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. I see it. Tracking the data, guys. I'm here watching all the time, and I'm still double checking the numbers with the guy who owns them because I don't know for sure. But as we watch him, how cool is it to be able to say, I've tracked his progress through 4 books as a friend. I've collaborated with him to push out the content, to talk about the content, even celebrating the Instagram, right? He didn't ask me to. I never do this for pay. He doesn't pay me to come up here and say nice things. I wouldn't. But I really do encourage him to grow in his passions and him doing the same for me. And then we share it with you guys and we're just honest and we're tracking each other and celebrating each other and watching you guys too. Like this is not exclusive to just us. You guys know we're stalking your stuff. We like to celebrate you too. We know all of you so well because you guys have not just tracked us, but you shared your data. Those posts, showing up for yourself, being willing to say, hey, I'm on a goal, but I'm not at the goal and I don't understand how, and bringing it to the stage, right? And that's this is the call to action time, guys. You want to join us? Reach out to Felipe for the link. I want you to make sure you're following him on Instagram. And also, Felipe, I didn't bring it up. I didn't because I didn't think about it until you said so, but I have a new Instagram page. I have a nature page.
Well, put it in the chat. I just did.
I'm going to. I just saw that. That was like, wait a minute. So let me plug it for 2 seconds, guys.
Okay, go ahead.
Over on Instagram, for years, I was with Love I Fly. It was my AOL handle. It was all the things. And when I went to Instagram to update for coaching, consulting, I changed some things around and I got rid of the name. And my daughter came back and said, what did you do? Go make a page right now and save it, Mama. Do it. You can't let it go. And I was like, oh, excuse me. She's like, no, really, you're changing my whole childhood. I was like, oh, no problem. So I go and I create this page just to lock in the name. And then I thought about what I'm doing with the ambassadorship. So I started a nature picture for my local area in Bellingham. So when people want to see where to go, eventually I'll be able to share the link because it's going to be all the places I've personally been to, enjoyed, and they can just go follow and go check it out themselves. So those little things, guys, right? One ripple created another ripple. I just wanted to get to know my community. They invited me to be an ambassador. I did the thing. I got certified, and now it started a new Instagram because my kid asked. And I love that. She's tracking me too. Anyway, back to you, Felipe.
So, we have some people that are on stage. So before we get to that, I just, I love that people are sharing their stories here. I was going to put in the chat here about I can't talk about goals without mentioning SMART. So I'm just going to put the acronym in there because when you're rechecking your goals, the SMART test is a good thing to run it through again. Is my goal still specific enough? Am I measuring it still well enough? Is it still actionable? Is it still realistic? Did something change that makes it, oh my God, this could take me 2 years instead of 1 year? Or is it timely in that sense? So always revisit it. Don't assume, oh, no, I have good metrics. Well, look at them again. Maybe there's a metric that you forgot to add and you want to add it now. So I think that's such an important thing. So I will add that in there. And to answer the questions about the book, yes, there will be a book about copper. That's actually the 4th book. The 3rd book is about Storm, Chewie, and Benny and the family members involved with that. And that's going to be about Storm's fear of thunderstorms. And it's not just about thunderstorms. You'll learn more. But the 4th one will introduce Copper, and that will be Copper. Now, Copper is working with Nicole to get his own contract to publish a book about me as a dog owner. So, Gabe,
I want to be in the book. He and I have so many stories we can share. Where's Michelle? Does she get a?
Oh my God,
with Copper?
Melissa, Michelle, and Copper.
Oh my gosh, Melissa, Michelle write a book about Felipe.
Stress about Felipe's influence in their lives.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine if the people you loved all came together? Nick, write this down. Here's your $1 million idea. Hold on. Wait. This is for Nick. This is $1 million idea for her. I want you to offer families the opportunity to have all the children write a chapter about mom so they can give the book to mom or dad or grandma. but have every one of the kids write a chapter to the parent or the person they choose. I think it would be so sweet to hand it to grandma. If my grandma had her 17 grandchildren all write a small chapter about their favorite story about her, that would be phenomenal. And in reverse, grandmas could do it for the grandchildren.
I love that idea, and I want to stress first, I think that is a sweet, intentionally wonderful gift that you could do your family, and I want to make sure that, Nicole, if you do that, I think that's going to be a wonderful project. Now that I've said that, my only fear would be that people like some of my family members would be just so trifling that they would sit there and use it as a tell-all book, and not even a tell-all book to get them in trouble. It'd be a tell-all book like, these are the things that I did that I never told you about, so I'm going to write it in my chapter, and that's how you find out.
Yes. Listen, there were a few stories that I might have kept in my back pocket till I was a grown-up. Okay, guys, here's one. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick one. When I was in 9th grade, I missed 54 days of school. Nobody knew. Not even my first hour teacher. When I went in the last day of class to get my yearbook signed by my friends, she tried to kick me out of the class, telling me I wasn't in her class. I was like, I'm there. I was her 5th hour attendant, so I always just fixed the attendance on my own. I was a bad girl back then. I would love to write these stories of the way that the state of Arizona probably has a limit to how many days you can miss before you have to go have your parent come in. It's probably a Melissa law. I'm not even joking. But I had good grades. So there it is. Do good things, people.
All right. I don't want children to walk away. Oh, let me track how many days I can miss from school and see if I can beat Melissa.
You can't anymore. Melissa
That's
fixed
not a
it.
goal.
I broke
That's
it for you. I figured it out. No, but truthfully, guys, there are stories people have hidden, and I think families don't have to tell the worst. But what about grandma's recipe books and all the different ways? Like I see Chase in there. The recipe book came to mind. You guys are also inspirational in the comments. Just showing up, my brain goes, oh my gosh, ideas.
Well, and then here's before we bring up William, who's our first guest, and again, the link is in the chat to come up and talk about your goals or ask questions about it. Chasing forehand, the epitome of creating a goal, and it's like a train that's gonna not stop. And if you want to be a part of it, you better jump on that train because it's not going to slow down. And his goals are not just in his home. They're not just in his town. They're not just in his country. His goals are global, and he's making such an amazing impact. And if you want to learn about the amazing work the man's doing with communities, with food, with just teaching and helping them learn life skills that are going to be so valuable, you got to check out this guy because he's the guy that I want to be when I grow up. I always say because his goals are so well thought out, so well delivered, and so positively impactful that it's just like he's making an impact on real lives. He's not just, sharing how to improve your workplace, which is great and important, but life skills that's helping children and communities learn how to cook, learn how to live better. And I can't say enough good things about him. We should have a show just about him one day.
Well, honestly, guys, we would love to celebrate any of you. If you have cool stuff going on, we're always looking for recommendations for topics for the show. You can nominate somebody else, on LinkedIn too. I gotta say, I see Leslie down there. I would love to have Leslie and Melissa on the show one day just to But before we get too deep into that, can I just say Jay Pascal just said he's been to Bellingham. He's been where I live.
Yes, he has.
Okay.
I know. I love that. And that's where we don't realize sometimes people have been in our own backyard. Real quick, I just started a new job a little while ago. One of the new hires that just joined. This is a global job. Most of my coworkers are all over the country and all over the world. This new hire lives 1 mile away from me. I'm like, oh my God, we have to go meet up for coffee. This is like awesome because it's a remote only company for the most part. But with that being said, welcome to Leslie. It's great to see you, and obviously Jay Pasquale. And Leslie and Melissa Cohn would be an amazing conversation. If you check out their monthly show, they just have a great show that is just always so thought-provoking, so entertaining, and so valuable. So definitely check them out.
Definitely becoming one of my favorites, and I don't say that lightly because Sumana and Felipe together have been a favorite, but it's really hard. If I had to pick, I'd have to flip a coin, I think.
Oh, damn. We're about to get Leslie. Well done.
You better watch out, Felipe. They're coming for you.
Melissa's top 5 list. We're about to get bumped off number 1, apparently. So well done. Okay. Well, listen, William's been very patient. Thank you. I know you've had a long night, William, because I was talking to you and Kenny and Chris. and Peter. But how are you doing this morning, and what are your thoughts about goals?
I am doing fantastic. My thought about goals are that you have to set them. And the part that's hardest is you have to set them and then walk towards them. A lot of us set goals and then we're like, okay, I'll get to it when I get to it. But that's not how you achieve the goal. You have to actually set them and walk towards them. So what I've started doing with myself is giving myself deadlines, meaning that I need to accomplish this by this date. And it's working. Um, it's working extremely well. I want to say that the goal I'm working on right this moment is men, money, and mental health. And I'm so excited about working with Nicole and all the men involved with it because it helps me to understand that I am not alone in this type of weird uh, spiral when it comes to money and mental health. Uh, I also want to say that Felipe, you made a statement that about goals and what your objective was when it came to writing your books. And I want people to not limit themselves and say, I'm writing it just for this, because your book can take you everywhere. That could be your next chapter. That could be the end all be all. You may not need anything else after it. And that's my wish for you. It may not be your goal, but that's my wish for you, that this series becomes a forever passive income that makes your life so comfortable that the last thing you have to worry about is how you're looking at finances.
Well, I appreciate that's a very kind wish, and I want to make sure that y'all hear me when I say that my goal was to write a story for my daughter, because I never thought of myself as a writer. I never thought that I could, write. And children's book was not heavy writing, y'all. I do acknowledge that, but it's one of those things where it really was something that my goal was to write a story for my daughter that she can read to her kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids when I'm not around. Is stories that they may never have told, but I would have if I was there. The fact that it's resonated with others, that's where I've revisited my goal, and now I'm pivoting. I'm
Yeah.
actually okay. Well, I'm creating a second book in a series. I'm doing an Instagram page. So I do hear you, and I appreciate what you're saying, because I don't want to limit myself, but I also don't want to burn myself out either. Like, for example, I said I'm here with friends and family right now, relaxing, on vacation. Right. I told them, I said, hey, I'm gonna work on the Instagram page for like 15 minutes tonight. And it's like, you have to work? I'm like, I don't have to. I want to, but I also don't want to take away from being with you all. So I limited myself to 15 minutes of what I was gonna do, and that's what I did. But what you said, I want to go back to what you said, because there's two things that you said about deadlines. And what you talked about your deadlines, I love that, because it talks about accountability. You're holding yourself accountable. So I don't care if you all call it deadlines, accountability, your you know your I don't know, whatever other word. I can't think of another word right now, but that's the thing that is important, is that you start somewhere and realize that your journey is about holding yourself accountable. And if you can't, ask for someone to help. Get a coach or a family member or a friend that cares enough to tell you, nope, I'm not going to let you get away with this. You said hold you accountable, and I'm going to do it. Melissa, your thoughts?
I wish I knew how to press mute faster. I love it, guys. Document, act, track, adjust. Right, the accountability can come in forms of alarms on your cell phone, sticky notes, little dry erase marker notes on the mirror in the bathroom. It could be a message on the fridge, a picture of your goal, dream body, whatever it is. You have to hold yourself accountable. It looks different for everybody. I wish there was a one size fits all answer, because there isn't. Those who hate post it notes and want to save the globe don't want to waste paper. Those who use their phone, it's easy use, but I hate notifications. So my phone's always on silent. If I'm looking at it and the phone rings, great, I'll answer. If not, I'm going to return the call once I get back to my phone because there's a reason I'm away from it, right? I'm intentionally not tied to it. And so there is no one size fits all answer, but documenting it, like Felipe shared on the fives, almost 50% increase, right? 42% is substantial, guys. If you could double down on your goal by just writing it down, wouldn't you want to? And what would make you hesitate if you knew that was going to make it happen? Except maybe fear, and then that's a whole different thing. But writing it down still gets it out of your brain. It's just like that grocery list. If you're saying milk, eggs, bread, butter over and over and over, your brain's using that power. It's actually actively trying to store that for you. It's repeating it. It's taking away from things you could be doing with that time. So by writing it down, you can release that energy and move it to something else. And so I love this conversation. I could do this over and over on documentation because it's just the bee's knees. But Bill, I'm very proud of the mindset and the action and the goal setting, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
I want to check in with you on the last thing we were talking about to see if you're fixing it. I want to ask publicly.
I didn't do it yet. I'm going to do it today.
I'm going to see you, Bill.
I'm going to do it today.
Okay.
I'm supposed to change my header and everything and add published author to my profile as well. But yeah, I'm going to do it today. Probably right after this call. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know you do. I won't say.
All right, and that was accountability in action. That was not planned, Joel. That was like real life accountability in action. And
well,
again,
we talk.
But that's what I'm saying. You're holding yourself accountable, but you also know that sometimes you need that coach. And Melissa just was coaching you right there, and that's good to have those people in your life.
And honestly, guys, that's what it is. If I hear Felipe said, "Hey, I want to do this," he's going to get a call. He might get a text. I might bother him, a month later on it, but we're going to make sure we come back to that to-do list whenever the time comes. And we all have different timing, right? Different goals. And when Felipe is like, "Hey, I thought you said," I'm like, "Oh yeah, I did say that, didn't I? I forgot that. Where did I put that Post-it note to remember I was going to do the thing?" And so not just one way, guys, have a backup plan. You always have your hard drive backed up. Your photos are in the cloud. Where's your to-do list stored beyond that one piece of paper or that one notepad in your phone? Where did you put it so you have it in more places than one so you can look at it more often than once a day?
And I want to stress also, when you are holding people accountable, don't shame them. You just saw Melissa right here be so tactful and respectful, saying, "Hey, don't think I forgot about that last thing we talked about." She didn't call him out. He shared it and he felt comfortable sharing it, and that was good. But there's a way to do it, and doing it in public can have a negative impact of holding someone accountable. So be respectful, because it's definitely something that can hurt somebody and make them go the opposite direction of what you intend. But
Are you saying have a filter?
No, but you know what? Since you bring
Yes.
it up, thank you for bringing it up. Have a filter is a great way of doing it, because having tact in business and life, it's helpful. And look, whether you're a leader in your family, in your friend group, at work, how you carry yourself, people are looking at you that you have no idea look up at you. And so it's always about making sure that you're kind of showing people, hey, this is how I want to be treated, the way I'm treating you. So if I'm going to be nice to you, I expect you to be nice to me. If I'm going to be snarky and chaotic with you, like I am with Melissa, I expect you to be snarky and chaotic with me sometimes.
And he knows he'll get it.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where a good leader is going to recognize it's a two-way street, and they also know, hey, oh, your grandmother's in the room. I'm going to filter what I'm going to say. Oh, your little boy's in the room. I'm not going to drop any F-bombs. It's just that.
Well, I did
sense.
ask his mom to give him a knock on his head for New Year's, and she listened. So I think tactful.
Yeah, don't
but
encourage violence.
strategic.
Still, don't encourage violence.
But honestly, guys, I love this conversation, and I appreciate you, Bill, because I'm glad you're doing all the things. But it is important to be able to come up and be transparent when you need help, and that's the only reason Bill and I know each other, why we ever had a conversation. he was talking to somebody who talked to somebody, and word of mouth gets around, guys. So if you're working on a goal, if you need some help, say so, right? There's no shame in that. You don't have to give us the details. You don't have to formulate your plan in public so everybody can go replicate it. But you can say, I have a big thing I'm working on. I have a due date by this date. Can you just check in with me on a week and in a week and see how I'm doing on the thing? It could be the thing is the task. They don't need to know what the thing is. It's nobody else's business. But if I say, Felipe, I have a thing I'm doing, I need you to message me Saturday and go, did you do the thing? That's all he needs, and he'll activate. So be strategic, but ask for help for sure.
Yeah, can I share one more thing? And I'll make it
Sure.
brief.
All right.
As the person on the other side of it, check your. Sometimes I have to check my sensitivity because I'm so overwhelmed sometimes that when someone who loves me is giving me advice, I can take it as criticism, and that's not what it is. So what I've learned is to step away. And when I step away for a second, it doesn't mean that I'm angry. It means I have to reset my mindset so that I can hear what the person is saying from the perspective they're trying to give it to me. And then I come back when I'm ready. And I want to say that, Felipe, you are a very loving person. I appreciate you so much. And I respect you immensely.
Well, it's very kind of you to say, and I respect you as well. So thank you, William. And I think that's it's wise advice for anyone because, look, one of the things that I mentioned earlier about whether you're a leader in your family or whatever is being able to take feedback and obviously you got to be in the right mindset to receive that feedback. But I've always told any team, and I tell my kids too, I'm like, challenge me if you don't think what I'm doing is right or if it's going to land wrong. And question it. I want you all to question it, but do me a favor, be respectful. And at the end of the day, whatever I decide, support me, even if I didn't decide to change my mind with what you said. But what I found is that I change my mind about 35% of the time when I get that feedback from people I respect, friends, my employees, my family. And I've come to realize I need, as much as I don't want to hear that constructive feedback sometimes, like from people I care about, like Melissa, I need it. I need to hear it sometimes. And when I don't agree with her, I say, hey, I hear you. I don't agree with you, but thank you. And that's how, because I know that they were coming from a good place. So I hope that when people criticize your goals or give you feedback saying, hey, I think this might work better. No. I know what I'm doing. I got it. You may got it. You may know what you're doing, but listen to them and say, well, I never thought about that. Okay, this might screw up a lot of the stuff that I was thinking of, but let me look at this. And it might screw up a lot of what you're thinking, but the screw up might lead to better results. Melissa?
Oh my gosh, I love this because in my brain, I'm thinking about the river. If you guys were there yesterday, same river. But imagine you're a swimmer. You've been swimming your whole life. You've played in this river your whole stinking life. And somebody goes, hey, before you get in the river. And you're like, you know what, dude? Mind your business. And then an alligator eats your face off. We get so confident in our knowledge that we forget to take feedback sometimes. And sometimes the feedback is that new data that we're not tracking, that we're not willing to accept.
I'm sorry. I just, why couldn't it just be this, like a snakes in the river? Why is an alligator had to eat the face off?
See you later, alligator. Listen, in a wild crocodile, they come around. There's always something.
It's a river. Can it just be a snake?
Listen, it could have been a shark in that ocean. But what I'm telling you is there's always the unknown. And if somebody's trying to catch your attention when you're moving forward, slow down to speed up is my first step. Hear them out. Even if you don't care, maybe you like alligators. Maybe that's why you went to the river. You heard it was there. You already knew, and you're on your way to go play. But at least allow the person to not have guilt once you get your face eaten off because they tried to warn you. And if you tell them, I am fully aware, thank you, I want to go play with this alligator, then they have alleviated their guilt, their need, their help. Because if you see something, you say something. And once you've heard them out and you've assessed it, good job. Track and adjust after, right? That's your job. You do that. But I think it
Yes.
really takes time. Take the time because you just don't know what's changed since the last time you were at the river or whatever it is.
Thank you,
And
guys.
it's you're welcome, Bill. And I don't want to take away from that point. That's such an important point. Slow down before you speed up. Listen to people. That river analogy was great up until the alligator eating the face off because I couldn't get that image out of my
Listen, some
head.
choices are just as devastating, guys.
but
Imagine. But yeah.
but it is definitely again in my analogy, it might have been like, hey, I saw a snake in the river. Be careful, and that I think would have I would have been just as cautious, but the alligator in the face may have caused some nightmares. But before I forget, two things I want to mention. One, Yvette mentioned that her notifications are always on silent too. This is what I look. I love getting notified about certain things, but group chats on my personal phone for my family on LinkedIn, I have to silence those because once people start getting into a conversation and it goes ding ding ding, I'm like, okay, shut this thing off, please. So I do silence the group chats, but I still read them. That's the good thing. And the other thing I wanted to highlight, and I was trying to get to it so I could highlight it on the screen, but Charles Caldwell shared a newer goal setting model that's been used as well after Smart came out, which is Clear. And I wanted to make sure that people knew about that because I want people to look at that because Clear might be a better model for you. Smart is something that I have used and I've gotten used to it and it works for me. I like Clear too, but I'm more comfortable with the Smart, and there's aspects of Clear that I do think about in the Smart thing. But Clear is a more updated model that they've tweaked a little bit, and so it might work better for you. So look at that one as well as Smart. But again, it's just a way to pass your goal through a test to say, hey, have I thought of everything? It's all it is. It's not like some huge new thing that you have to add all this extra work to. No, it's literally just run it through the test. Okay. Houston, this has been a great show. I'm going to go enjoy being present with my friends and family here since the weather is nice, and we're gonna go to the beach. So, but what do you have coming up, and any final thoughts?
Well, guys, so much is going on. I'm excited. I talked to Nick. I got some more books that I'm going to get ordered because I'm out of all of my copies that I initially had when we published. I'm hosting more events at Sliced, which is great. I'm getting on the ground here in Bellingham networking. And guys, I was on the radio. If you didn't check it out, go check out my post. It was kind of fun. Coffee Chats with Melissa is back on Saturday. Otherwise, I'm going to go run a motorcycle shop today, go have some fun with the people in town, and then take a day off tomorrow beyond my coaching. I'm excited. Also, Felipe, I have more plants. I have grown my babies.
I don't want to hear about plants until I get my little, plant baby that you say you're going to send me. Because
no, but listen, now you have more choices. So here's where we're at. I got a new jade plant.
I'm not picky. Really cool, send me any plant. Purple. If it's green and alive, send it to me.
Listen, do you guys have tips for shipping plants quickly to not let them die? Because I have aloe from Arizona, which I would love to send you an aloe vera plant.
And aloe is durable. It will survive shipping.
It could, yeah. And then also the Bonnie spider plants. I think I need to send you a big one so it will survive instead of trying to.
I don't want you to test it with a small aloe plant and see how the aloe plant does. Just small.
I'm not going to do this at once, buddy. No.
All right. We'll argue about this later. Let's take this argument offline because I don't think.
No, but guys, listen. If you're not following the people in the comments, please go fix that. If you're not following the YouTube channel, go fix that. If you're not following Instagram, go fix that. And that's for everybody on this stage right now. Both of us, we both have them. So make sure you're following. Also, we would love to hear what topics you would like for us to cover when we come back in 2 weeks. Leslie, you got to talk to Melissa. We would love to have you on the show. I think we should do maybe a couple of episodes in a row where we bring some friends on and just maybe do a month-long journey, maybe in August, of just co-hosting with some of our cool friends.
Okay. I like where you're going. Okay, let's have some planning session and talk about that. And also, I want to, if Leslie's still listening, good. Leslie, talk to Melissa about this. I don't know if you all have ever done one of Omar's Zoom parties, but I want to challenge Melissa and Leslie to a Family Feud type of thing against you and me, Melissa. What do you think?
Oh man, I'm a game show junkie, guys. I feel like you're calling in a ringer, and I don't mean any disrespect to others who might also be ringers, but If you go check me out on that LinkedIn games list, my face is usually pretty up at the top.
Okay,
So
she's getting cocky here.
I'm
Challenge is
ready.
extended, Leslie.
I'm not trying
Challenge
to
is
be
extended.
cocky. I
No, you're
feel like you're
confident. All right.
cheating.
I'm not cheating. I'm just
I mean,
challenging
calling me
friends
in.
to a
I'm
fun
already.
event. And so Leslie, talk to Melissa. See, because Leslie and Melissa might be secret closeted super fans and super gamers. You never know. I mean, Family Feud's been around forever, so you never know.
Who watched Game Show Network growing up? Because that was
Okay.
channel. Yeah.
Well, look. So listen. As far as what I have coming up, I do next Saturday. So Saturday chat, and then in 2 weeks I'll be here with Melissa. Obviously, Workplace Wellness Hour is on hiatus, but if you know anybody that does need HR services, feel free to scan this QR code and let them know. And if you miss the QR code, you can always go back to the replay. I really would love for you all to follow me on YouTube, because that is where I house all the videos. Even the Backyard Adventures videos are here. I'm actually probably going to create a Backyard Adventures YouTube page to complement the Instagram page. So that is probably coming as well. But if you have a child in your life, friend, family member, neighbor, feel free to buy a book and send it to them. If you want me to autograph it, I'm happy to. But as a reminder, the book comes with, and the link is in the Instagram page, a free coloring book, a song and cartoon they can watch and want you to replay over and over again. Just put headphones on if the song gets annoying, because it probably will, like any song that gets replayed. But it's a great way to encourage kids to use their imagination. And it's also helpful to help me achieve one of my goals. So thank you all for all that. Leslie, Family Feud sounds intriguing. All right. She is considering the challenge. And I want to thank everyone that's joined us today. I mean, you all have been so great today. Nick, you are an amazing publisher. Thank you. And I look forward to the next book and helping you with your book. And that's the other thing. You meet great people that you can start supporting and bartering with. But Chris, William, Yvette, Chasen, we had Leslie, Charles, Jay, Kenny, Merrill, all of you all have been amazing. Leslie Flowers as well. I want to make sure both Leslies. I just want to make sure I said that. You all have been amazing. So let us know if there's any topics you want to join us. Let us know if you know of any guests that you think that we would, blend well with, and it might be entertaining or valuable. And with that, Melissa, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I gotta share some motorcycle stories from my son with you later, but all good. But so other than that, I look forward to seeing you all hopefully in 2 weeks. And Melissa, have a great rest of your Sunday.
You guys too. I'm going to go play with the motorcycle people. But thanks for following. If you did, we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Adios, everyone. Take care. And as always, be confident in what you do. Be curious to learn more. Be grateful for what you have. Be compassionate to yourself. And be tenacious as hell, because you got this. Adios, everyone.
In the morning light, I'm chasing dreams, navigating through the office streams. Deadlines looming, emails piling high, wondering if I'm reaching for the sky or just passing by. The world outside, it's a swirling storm, chaos in the streets, a daily norm. But inside my mind, I'm seeking peace, a way to balance, a moment to seize. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Upon meetings, voices in my head, strategies and plans, where do they lead instead? I take a breath, step back to see the bigger picture, what's meant to be. Coaching sessions, a guiding light, helping me focus, setting things right. With every word, a new perspective gained in the game of life. It's not about the pain,